Neil, given what we saw on Saturday, the Mansfield game, how much does that highlight for you how tight League Two actually is at the moment? There's fine margins in that one.
I think it's a very competitive league, and I think there are some good teams in the league. I think there's a group of teams that are better than us at this moment in time, and then there's a large group of teams where we'd have to be in that same, count ourselves in the same group, and we have to make sure that we pick up a lot of points against all the teams that are in that group, and it is quite a big group, because I don't think there's not a lot of difference between sort of any of the teams that you play, but I do think there's a group at the top that have certainly got better squads than the majority of others.
It was a big summer for you. You had to bring in so many players. When do you start looking at contract situations and planning so that you don't end up having another summer like the one you've just had?
Well, it's out of my hands in some respects, because I'm tied by, as a manager, when you come into a club, you're tied by the contracts that people are on when you get there. I can only do what is which is in my control. So when somebody's contract runs out, if I don't want to keep them at the club, then obviously you can be replaced then, and that takes time, obviously, to get to where you want. So I think you know, if I was to be sat here next season and you're interviewing me, then I've had another summer where I've been able to, you know, to bring in some more players, and should be getting closer to a squad that I want and that I feel can make more of a challenge at the right end of the tail.
Someone who came in this summer, Leon Lake's just been in, who's been talking about that long throw. How good a weapon can that be for you if it starts to come off?
There's no problem with a long throw. The problem is getting somebody on the other end of it. That's a problem, because we don't have enough. We're not scoring enough goals, and that is a problem. So it's all right. We do put the ball in the box on numerous occasions, but we're not turning them into goals. And obviously, if you're not scoring goals, then if you do concede, it makes it very, very difficult to win games. So I have been saying it for a while, and we've got to get better at. We must score more goals.
Is it something that can work in your favour, that kind of thing? You know,
Look, the throw-in is a good tool to have, because it gets you into areas where you can score a goal, and you know, I think I didn't see the England game, but I've seen the goals. You know, of which one of them's off a long throw, and that's at international level. So there's no rule to say you can't use it. You don't need to, you know, hopefully not using it all the time, but certainly is a tool, you know, to try and get you a goal. Then it's a good weapon to have.
A couple of checkups to do. Ricky Miller wasn't in the squad at the weekend. How's he looking?
He had a bit of a muscle injury on the Friday, and we thought that it wasn't worth risking him, especially in Saturday's game. Well, whether he'd have played or not, but in Saturday's squad, I didn't feel he was worth risking in the reserve game today. But hopefully he should be available for Saturday.
And David Worrell hasn't been around the squad for a couple of weeks. Is that injury, or what's that?
It's been a combination of things. I think we were playing with wing backs, so we didn't include him in the squad because we wanted to have other people on the bench. Due to the fact as well that he'd had a problem with his hip, then he'd had in a car accident, so he had whiplash. So there's various reasons, but he is playing in the reserves today. But it's up to him to impress, to get himself back in the squad, and he's not played consistently well in any of the games to be in the team.
When he's on form, a player, I'm sure you'll agree, that can make a bit of a difference at this level?
I think when any player's on form, they can make a difference, but you know, it's how often they're on form, isn't it? And at the moment, the reason you have a change in team or a change in formation is because players are inconsistent. you want to have 11 players that perform well every week, and then you don't have a problem. But certainly some players' performances are up and down, and you need them to be consistent to get a result.
Brilliant.